Hey guys, what is up? Reese here. I've got a brand new sneaker pickup to bring you, and this is one I'm really excited to be able to show you. What we're looking at is the Ning Way of Wade 2.0 in the Code Red colorway. These feature red, black, and yellow in a kind of Miami Heat look, and the shoe originally released in March of 2014 with a retail price of $150. This is my first pair of shoes from the Way of Wade line, and actually my very first pair of Ning shoes. It's one of those things where I've been interested in them, but I just wasn't sure if it was totally worth it. The Way of Wade 1, or the original Way of Wade, I wasn't a huge fan of, but a lot of the things they did with the Way of Wade 2 I've really liked since I first started seeing pictures of them, but they're not all that easy to get here in the US. There's wayofwade.com where they will release some of the kind of like the main or inline colorways. Those are kind of like the easier ones to get, not the special edition ones. And this was one of the pairs that they actually released on the website. But it's not like a pair of Jordan Retros where we know months out when they're going to be releasing. Like for this pair, I think it was on a Friday. They announced they would be coming out the next Monday. And unfortunately, I was just busy. I wasn't able to pick them up right when they dropped. And so when I checked later, they were all sold out. And there are a couple other options. One of the ones that I'd known about for a while was High Basketball. It's just a place that out of China that sells Ning shoes. The biggest problem there is they mark up the shoes an awful lot. Like for example, this pair right now, they're listed at $225, although they're on sale right now for $200, which is still $50 over retail. But then you also have to pay like $10 to get them double box, which to me is a must if you're doing international shipping. And then the international shipping is like $28 or $29 on top of that. So you're basically paying $240 for a $150 pair of shoes. Then a couple months ago, I learned about a company called Sunlight Station, which is another retailer out of Australia. And they actually have a lot more competitive prices. Most of these regular colorways sell for $161, which compared to $150 isn't that big of a deal. But again, you still have to deal with international shipping, which is, at least to the center of the US, $28. So you're still spending about $190. And you know, I just wasn't sure if it was worth it. You know, I'd seen reviews and everything, and I heard good things about the shoe, but just having never actually been able to see a pair, I wasn't sure if I wanted to fork over more than retail for a pair that I didn't even know very much about. So I was happy to see a couple days ago, in celebration of the 4th of July, Sunlight Station actually released to certain like sneaker YouTubers or some other like influential people in the sneaker community promo codes that they could give out for free shipping. The code that I used came from Nightwing2303. He's a big presence on YouTube, social media, weartesters.com. I follow his site, and so I just happened to see that pretty early. And so I jumped on it right away, was able to get free shipping. And so basically, I got these for $161, nothing else. And I could not have been more impressed with the company and the service I received. So first of all, I placed my order late Thursday night, and I got them on Monday. And this was for international shipping. So, you know, I was expecting it to be a week plus, especially, you know, when I look at some of the times it's taken to receive shoes that I've ordered from US companies. So I was just really impressed. And then not only was the shipping fast, but everything was great about the package. So I opened it up, and the shoes themselves, or the box was wrapped in bubble wrap inside of the cardboard box that they shipped it in. And then they included just some small extra goodies. There was like a little picture, like a nice quality picture of these shoes, Ning Dwayne Wade poster, a little keychain, a button, and then a pair of Ning socks. Which none of that was super crazy, but it was just kind of cool to see that they were taking this extra effort. And so I was beyond impressed. And as far as the shoes go, I am really loving the shoe. One of the things you hear a lot about these is that the quality is really high, and that's something I absolutely agree with. Everything about this shoe is really well done. The one thing I don't like is the tongue seems a little bit stiff. It's kind of, as you can see, it's kind of like wide and flared out, and I've kind of like tried to fold it in, but it's pretty stiff. I'm assuming that's something that will kind of get better with wear, but that was really the only thing I've noticed about the shoe. Everything about the quality and the way it's put together is really, really nice. It comes in a little dust bag inside the box, which it's that small touch I think is cool. Because, you know, for a company like Ning, they don't have the huge brand following that Nike or Adidas or someone like that has. And so I feel like it's on these companies to do a little something extra to kind of make them stand out, you know, so that since not as many people are buying their shoes, the people that do buy them will want to not only buy more, but also, you know, proudly show, hey, check this out, I got this really cool pair. And honestly, I think it works really well. You know, I'm completely happy with these shoes. Like I said, I just having never had experience with the brand before, I wasn't sure if I wanted to fork over more than retail, but so for the chance to get these for $161, I was so impressed. And I guess with that said, let's get into a close-up review and kind of take a look at the colors, materials, and everything that's going on with this shoe. Here we go with our close-up view of the Ning Way of Wade 2.0 in the Code Red colorway. The majority of your upper is a nice, smooth leather in red. It's got a good responsiveness, like when you're touching it, it's not super hard, it's not super stiff, which I really, really like. You've got perforations throughout the toe box, and then you've got kind of like an extra layer on top of that, and then you got your main side piece. Up here towards the back of the shoe, you've got a little extra reinforcement up near the top, and you've got the Ning logo in yellow. You've got this band of faux stingray leather, and then below that you've got another band of just your regular smooth leather, although this is dimpled, just a little added texture, which is a cool look. It doesn't obviously add any like performance or anything, it's just something neat and kind of breaks up the back of the shoe. You've got this tag right here, a little like tab I guess, and it doesn't say anything on the outside, but if you flip it up, it actually says Code Red, so it has the colorway name. Kind of a cool touch. The inside of the shoe is very similar to the outside, except you don't have the Ning logo up here. The whole tongue area is a nice black nubuck. You've got this little trapezoid down here below the laces, and then as you can see, it also comes up to the top of the tongue, and you've got this little black section stitched in here with Dwayne Wade's logo in red. And like I said, the tongue is the one thing that I'm not a huge fan of. As you can see, it's kind of wide and it's fairly stiff, so it just kind of balloons out a little bit. I'm assuming that's something that'll kind of adjust as I wear them. You've got these black laces with a zigzag pattern in yellow, and basically the point of that is to kind of mimic, you can see right there, there's a W for Wade, because on the original Way of Wade, you actually had a lacing system where the laces would run down here and then up and then down and then up, basically spell out a W. This was kind of more of a subtle way of incorporating that hit. For the eyelets, you've got this kind of rubbery plastic material that's very flexible that has these triangle holes cut into them. You've got that all the way up along the side, and then you've got this smaller triangle with the same holes up here at the top. You've got this band of stitching around the top of the tongue, and then the lining of the shoe is a nice black and yellow pinstripe. I think it's a really good look. You can see there's also a lot of padding, especially back here at the heel. There's just an incredible amount of padding, makes them very comfortable. The inside of the tongue also features the black and yellow pinstriping with a kind of modified version of the Way of Wade logo. If we look at the insole, you're not able to see that too well, but it's a black insole with the Way of Wade logo in black, red, and white. That about does it for the upper, so now we'll take a look at the midsole. First of all, you've got this midsole top line in black with red contrast stitching here at the heel. And then the actual midsole is a nice yellow with your black speckles. I think it's a really, really good look. I've always loved speckles. It's a nice way to just break things up and add a little bit of extra detail. You've got your carbon fiber plate right in here. It's kind of like a triangle shaped. Help with stability along the foot. You've got these grooves cut in here at the back. And then if we look right at the heel, you've got another carbon fiber piece with the text 3 for his number in red. If we look at the inside of the shoe, same story. You've got your grooves and then you've got your carbon fiber plate. And then right here you can actually see the Ning logo is pressed in. If we look right here up at the toe box area, there is a little bit of midsole that wraps up here, but this is just plain yellow without the speckles. That about does it for the upper of the shoe, so now we'll switch to the last part, the outsole. The outsole is just crazy looking. Like, I know it doesn't really matter what the outsole looks like because the only person who's going to see it is the ground, but I think this is a really, really cool look. First of all, you've got your another carbon fiber panel right in here, and then the majority of the traction pattern is just a lot of lines in black and yellow, which definitely looks very interesting. You've got all sorts of directions working just to help with the traction. Up here you've got WOW for Way of Wade, and then right here you have the Way of Wade logo in
black and red. The last couple touches that they have is right here you can see TNS, which is just an abbreviation for Team No Sleep. Right here you can also see within the outsole pattern you've got the Ning logo. It's just alternating directions of the black lines to create that. And then right here you have a couple numbers and letters stamped into the outsole. You have 12, 11, 6, which is the ages of his 2 sons and his nephew. 92, which is the age of his grandmother. And then it says Way of Wade. And you've got ZZDG. ZZ stands for the first initials of his 2 sons. D is the first initial of his nephew who lives with him. And then G is the first initial of his fiance. So it's just kind of cool to see some of those little extra details. All in all, this is a very nicely crafted shoe. There's a lot going on here. I know this specific colorway has been called like the Ronald McDonald's before, but I personally really enjoy this colorway. It's definitely a little more bold than some of the others, but that's kind of what I like about it. It's a very nicely constructed shoe, though. You can tell that Ning put a lot of effort into this shoe, and even though this is not like a special edition release or anything, the quality is very, very high. I have nothing but nice things to say both about Ning and about Sunlight Station, where I purchased these shoes. Definitely, if you're thinking about Nings, I would definitely recommend making the jump and buying a pair, because for now they're going to be a little bit tricky to get, but it's totally worth it in my opinion. This is a great, great shoe, and I'm excited to start wearing them. Thanks for checking this out, guys, and I hope you have a great day.